Hey, what's up? This is MBA Joshua. Today I want to talk about how to be more confident. Hold on, I think this is rubbing against my shirt. I apologize. Boom. Okay. Um, because as a teacher and as somebody who works with artists and works on creative teams, I just feel like confidence is one of the most sorely lacking things that I kind of encounter with creative people. Um, and I want to get a little bit into how to get to a basic level of deprogramming your lack of confidence. Because in a lot of ways, it's a learned thing. I mean, maybe it's not completely a learned thing. Uh, Maybe some of us are just less confident than others. But but I think one of the biggest, most helpful changes in my life was learning to become more confident, and not just like in an external like walk differently, talk differently kind of way, but in terms of feeling pretty good about who I am as a person. And there were a couple things that were really helpful in doing that. So here's, I mean, let's do like three ways. So the first one, and I'm going to try to keep them more tactical than philosophical. So, so many people think that they're kind of a drag on their friends and that they're not that great as a person or whatever. You just hear it all the time, like people who feel like they constantly are overstaying their welcome. They feel like they're imposing on everyone. I know I felt this way for a really long time where I constantly thought I was imposing on people, and I constantly kind of thought that people were being nice by being around me. And the thing that I started doing to kind of deprogram that was actually looking at how people acted around me, like, and using that as ammo in order to like myself better. So, a really good example is I would think about the people in my life who I liked and would be like, well, do they seem like they like to spend time with me? And so, if I went out to dinner with someone and made them laugh the whole time, uh, I would realize like, oh, I'm a, I'm a funny guy. Like, I think I'm funny, and apparently other people think I'm funny. And essentially, I would use all those instances as little bits of ammo to make myself feel better, deprogram a lot of the like insecurities and nonsense, and sort of use them as proof to myself that I was whatever, a good person, a funny person, etc. Now, this is like a thing you want to do in the beginning. You don't want to do this forever, but I do this all the time. So if I'm teaching and I make the class laugh, file that away. I'm hilarious. One of the things I do, because I'm an egomaniac, is I watch a lot of the videos I've made. If I do a live video that was taped in a class or at a talk or something like that, and the audience is laughing, I file that away. I give myself permission to laugh too, but I file that stuff away. You know, like there's a whole thing where people are constantly confused as to whether the waiter or waitress or whoever is flirting with them or just being friendly. I don't give a shit. If you smile at me, as far as I'm concerned, you flirted with me, I'm attractive, I'm awesome. So I take all those little bits and pieces of things that happen and I file them away. The thing I think is that most people do this already, but the problem is they only do it with the negative stuff. So when they inadvertently offend someone, they take that and they file it away. And when they make someone upset, they file it away. And when they're late to work and someone is disappointed in them, they file that away. All I do is try to do the opposite. I file the other stuff away in hopes of, well, it depends. If I think it's legitimate, like I was late, I file it away as don't be late. It disappoints people. But I try not to file away that negative reaction. And I certainly don't, like if I inadvertently offend someone, I really don't particularly care unless I was trying to do the exact opposite. If I was trying to build someone up and then I offended them, yeah, I'd feel bad and I would file that away as like, don't do that again. But in general, the way that I work is if I get positive feedback from my environment, then I take that. My kids come and give me a hug, file that away. I'm a great dad. I'm like a loving, positive person. Um, and in general, we do this for other people. We see how other people interact in an environment and they get positive feedback, and we think like, oh, that guy's funny, or oh, that guy's uh, loved, or oh, that guy's a really caring father, or like you see the barista actually flirting with some handsome guy, and you're like, oh, that's a handsome guy. He gets reactions. I just take what I would apply to other people and I bring it back on myself. The second one I would say is to learn how to be comfortable being loud. This is a difficult one. It's really difficult if you're an introvert, as I am. So I'm sitting out here. I'm on this trail by the Mississippi. So we're just off downtown Minneapolis. It's 70 something degrees out. It's beautiful. There are joggers. There's people going for walks. Who knows? There could be someone sleeping in the little ravine just below me. But there's people all around, and I am sitting here by myself talking at conversational level, which in general makes me uncomfortable and is not a thing I want to do. But I have taught myself and deprogrammed myself that I'm comfortable being loud. And once you're comfortable being loud, it makes you more confident in your environment. If you think about it, if you feel stifled all the time, you absolutely do not feel confident because you're constantly undermining everything about you to keep you small and quiet and reserved and whatever. Whereas like if you can be in an environment and there's people jogging behind you and you don't feel compelled to be quiet or pretend you're not there or whatever, you're going to feel bigger. You're going to feel more expansive. You're going to feel more a part of your environment and less an observer. And there's some simple ways to do this. Something obnoxious like this, do a video blog out in public. That's going to be, that helps immensely. Another one that was like a really big thing for me is for teaching. I drive, and if I think I'm going to have to give a talk, or even a first day of class. So like when I have a first day of class, we got to set up the expectations. We got to talk about what we're going to accomplish. I don't write any of that down. I don't do index cards or anything. I just drive to work and give that talk. And I drive home and I give that talk. And I get really used to hearing my own voice and being loud. That stuff makes me more comfortable, more part of the environment, more an active participant, which in turn both feels more confident and appears more confident. Another one, if you're really, really stifled, find whatever like the most aggressive music that you can listen to. Play it in your car, loud, and scream. Make a racket. Get used to being louder than you are comfortable with. I do this to prep for talks. I have a mixtape of like Gunplay and Dipset and Meek Mill. And if I'm gonna give a talk, I turn that up really loud and I holler the whole way to the talk. And then when I get to the talk, instead of having to ramp myself up and get comfortable with the environment, instead, I gotta tone it down a little bit, which is a much better feeling than feeling insecure and an observer to the environment. Helps for meetings. And then the last one, and it kind of fits with it, but seriously, look in the mirror and learn to appreciate the face that's looking back at you. Don't, like, here's a rule I sort of use. Let's say my hair is out of control and I hate it. I don't cut it until I don't care. So meaning if I look at my hair and I go, oh, it looks terrible, I let it keep growing. And I look at it and I go, oh, that looks terrible. I let it keep growing. Once I get to it and I'm like, whoa, my hair is crazy, that's when I cut it. Because I'm trying to like learn to appreciate me and what's in front of me. So this video, gonna go on YouTube. I'll probably listen to it today or tomorrow or whatever. I'm at the point where I like the sound of my voice. I hated it my whole life. Absolutely abhorred it. Did this little thing on Instagram yesterday, and I talked about how I always wanted to be a rapper. Well, part of the reason I couldn't do it is because I would listen to my voice and I despised it. Now I think it's great. I think it's unique and it's weird and it's scratchy, and it's got its own cadence, and there's nothing I can do about it. So I just ride it out. But I had to deprogram myself of that belief. I've listened to hours of myself talking, um, entire classes I've recorded, uh, because you got to get used to it and you got to learn to love it. Because if you learn to love it, you're definitely not going to be stifled and want to be quiet and small all the time. You're going to allow yourself to be bigger and fill up the environment more, which again, it feels so much better. It feels so much better to walk into a room and feel like, even if it's full with strangers, but just to walk in the room, you're high energy, you're kind of hyped up, you're happy. You walk in and you're like, all right, let's go have a conversation. That's so much different than you walk into a room and you're like, well, maybe I'll like post up in the corner, grab a table. Like, you can already hear how shitty that sounds. Um, so those are three things, okay? Like, one, look for evidence that you're awesome, funny, adventurous, talented, creative. Like, if you ever won an award, hang that shit up until you don't need it anymore. Two, learn to be loud. And three, learn to appreciate the things about you that are unchangeable. Like my gross ass yellow fake tooth. Actually, that is changeable, but I still love it. Or this new weird white spot I got under my beard. It's looking pretty good. Appreciate that stuff. Appreciate the bad habits you have. Your ADD. Maybe it'll turn you into an author because you're constantly looking at other stuff. So that's getting shaky. My arm hurts. Ow. Thanks a lot for watching. Check out other videos. Make sure you subscribe. Send me messages. I don't know. Send me money or something. Don't send me drugs, but send me money in case you think I'd like to do drugs, and then I'll buy them or something. Or I'll buy them for someone else maybe. This is rambling because I'm in a super awesome mood. Let's look at the lovely Mississippi.